Well, the AFC East is looking pretty darn interesting after last night now, isn't it? The season's over. Jet fans pack it in. Not so fast, my friends. Not so fast. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to bring on a guest on this program for the first time in history. That should be spectacular. And of course, answer all your questions and thoughts. It's Boy Green Daily. That starts right now.
It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans.
Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Yeah, what's poppin', everybody? My name is Paul Weston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. This is Boy Green Daily. We're streaming live right now on our Facebook page with over 40,000 New York Jet fans. How you doing? YouTube.com/BoyGreen25 and on the Twitter sphere as well, at BoyGreen25. This is a special episode. First off, this is one of the best Jets personalities on the old Twitter X app that's out there in the universe. He's phenomenal. It's the first time I'm getting him on these airways, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of peer pressure, a little bit of a push. All of a sudden, he's going to be taking my job. I'm going to be in the streets. Hopefully, he brings me on his show. That's what this guy is doing, and that is Spyro. You know him from everything. And I also want to say this: you see me wearing my, salute to service gear. Let's give a shout out to Spyro here, who's in the Air Force, a senior airman, works in information assurance, cybersecurity, 3 years active, supporting our country, and he deserves all our love. This is a mini NFL Salute to Service episode, which represents the NFL's unwavering dedication to honoring, empowering, and connecting with our nation's service members, veterans, and their families. So let's bring them in without further ado. A hell of an intro, if I do say so myself. Spyro joining us here on the show live. What's up, my man?
Man, I appreciate that, man. That intro is fire.
Okay, well, man. First off, welcome to the program. I think a lot of people have heard from you on the old app, but this is the first time you got the saucy jersey on. Legacy, nice. Oh yeah.
Promise I ain't crying yet. Hold on.
Oh no, that's yeah. There you are. So, well, first off, last night, the Buffalo Bills, the team that everybody fears. I don't know. I was getting some tweets off last night. I was in my fields, and so were you and others. The Buffalo Bills, 5-5. They have as many wins as they have losses. They just lost to the Denver Broncos at home in primetime. Yikes! AFC East up for grabs?
Hey, don't let me tell it.
Okay, well, that's what it feels like. And guess what? It's interesting. What's the Jets schedule? Oh, wait, they play the Bills and the Dolphins in the next 2 weeks. The two teams ahead of them are the Bills and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this Jets team, Spyro? It's been tough, obviously. 2-game losing streak. We were just on a 3-game winning streak, so I guess it humbles you real quick, but the Jets were right in the thick of everything, and they still are. Imagine if they would have won 1 or 2 of those games. They'd be in first place themselves in this division, but nonetheless, they're still within striking range as we head into Week 11, man.
Yeah, I mean, the past 2 games were rough. Lost to two very beatable teams, in the Chargers and the Raiders. Mm-hmm. I think the Chargers game definitely was a big blow to a lot of us because we had higher expectations. This Raiders game was kind of like that gotta have it moment, and they fell a little bit short. But I think after the next day or two that went past that transpired, I felt a little better as far as the totality of the team a little more. So as far as the offense goes, we know we've been struggling on third down, been struggling mightily in the red zone. Greg Zuerlein's leg is about to fall off at this point. But
thank you, Z. Appreciate you. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of going to go off what Saleh was saying. I feel like the strides were slightly getting there. As crazy as that sounds, right?
Yeah.
We're moving the ball, we're just not finishing the deal, and the penalties are absolutely killing us, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I want to see going
Yeah.
forward is they're just letting Zach Wilson just sling it, man. Letting Zach Wilson sling it. Tyler Conklin needs to be the focal point. Obviously, in Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook just needs to be, I'd obviously utilize more. I would obviously recommend, to be honest, that we bench Michael Carter for Izzy. My personal opinion. Defensively, obviously, that goes without saying. I mean, we're not gonna get much more improvement there. They're doing their job. Our offense has to get to a point where we could score at 21. As far as the team goes, Saleh, questionable, clock management at times, but I don't put a lot of blame on him because I genuinely feel like the team comes in ready to go. We come in ready to play. We haven't had many games this year besides that Cowboys game where I can honestly say we look completely outmatched on the field. This team is 100% better than us that day.
Yeah.
I think it just boils down to a couple plays here and there where it just didn't roll, in our favor, right? That's pretty much where I'm at right there right now. I like.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I'm proud.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. I missed that last part. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that I'm pretty much proud of what I'm seeing right now. I can't say for certain that they're a playoff team right now. Obviously, we're standing right now. But as far as going off of last year, what we had with Zach Wilson, he's basically unplayable. I mean, once they get to a point where you can just trust them a little more, and the offense could get rolling, especially on third down in the red zone. We're right there. We're like right there.
100%. I mean, this last game with the Jets, again, they have been horrible on third down. Leading up into that Raiders game, they were the worst one we've seen since 1978. Like, it was bad. But we were 7 of 16 in that Raiders game. That's dramatic improvement over what we've been seeing. So that part to me is encouraging. And you're right. Throw Michael Carter's ass out of the club. See ya. Almost Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith. Throw his ass out because I think you're right. Saleh, to the theme of this video, Saleh spoke on Monday, and he hinted at changes. Now, it won't be changes to the starting quarterback. It will not be changes to the play caller. He made that clear, but they're looking at two major things. Schematic changes. He said he wants to, highlight the strengths of his players. Thank you. I hope we were doing that from the beginning, but sure. All right, let's do that. And then number two, a couple personnel changes, which I believe could be Izzy to Michael Carter to what you've said. Maybe Jeremy Ruckert over CJ Uzomah. Yikes. I mean, you said it. He wiped 14 points off the board, right? In that whatever it is, Raiders game?
Yeah,
Uzomah, Jesus. Yikes.
Lord. I can't believe
So he's another one. Yeah, I know. He was bad. He was bad. So Uzomah's another one I'd like to see. And then we'll see on the offensive line. If Dwayne Brown comes back this week, you could have some shuffling on the line. I hope Mekhi Becton stays the left tackle. We'll see if that's the case. But there could be some shuffling there as well.
I'm actually curious to see your opinion on that, to be honest, because with how they've been playing, and granted we've been shuffling the entire season, I genuinely like Mekhi Becton at that left tackle spot, right?
I do too.
Slide everyone over, bouncing around. You might have freaking Max Mitchell at guard for all we know. I don't know. It could go either way, right? I mean, it could either have some positive effects, or obviously it could just the downward spiral. So I'm curious to see how they do that.
Yeah, again, if it was up to me, okay, Mekhi obviously had struggled with health his entire first 3 years here.
Right.
They declined his fifth-year option, right? And then we're heading into this year, and he's a total wild card. We have no idea what he's going to be. Right. And he's been healthy as hell since that back end of training camp, running through the regular season to this point, right? We're heading into week 11, which is amazing for Mekhi. I'm so happy for him. So he's completely turned it around, and he's been the left tackle since week 3. Dwayne Brown was the left tackle for the first 2 weeks, and he was placed on IR, and he's been MIA since. And Mekhi Becton has been the steadiest offensive lineman the New York Jets have. I just have that mentality. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Everything else has been a disaster, volatile, players moving all over the place. But he's been rock solid. Lakin is another one, obviously, at left guard. He's been rock solid, too. And there's some continuity there on that left side.
Right.
I know Dwayne has never played left tackle before. Well, I think, Spyro, you've done this a few times. Well, it's time to learn Chinese. Well, it's time for your ass to get the right tackle. Like, I've never played it before. Well, first time for anything. Slap him and get him over there. That's what I'd like to see. And then Max Mitchell can slide into right guard for the time being. I think you get your best starting five: Mackay, Lakin, Connor, Max Mitchell, and then ultimately Dwayne Brown. I believe that's a combination. Or Dwayne Brown can learn guard, and it's not too crazy. Jason Peters has done that, and late in his career. So I'm really hoping the Jets do that. I don't want to mess with Mackay. That's what I would do. I'm afraid the Jets are like, screw you, Mackay. You're jumping over to right tackle, and Dwayne will take over. I think that's a critical mistake. So I hope they don't, but I believe that is what's going to happen when Dwayne inevitably returns, and that could come as early as this week. That's what I'm afraid of. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you about the division. Do you think the Jets can take it? So right now they're 4-5. The Bills are above them at 5-5, but the Jets hold the immediate tiebreaker right now with the head-to-head win. And again, if they get the old sweep ski, they get the sweep ski this weekend, and all hell breaks loose. And then they have both matchups against the Dolphins. First one on the Black Friday after Thanksgiving. So they really control their own destiny here. Do you think they could get into it? Now, as I was like hypothesizing, going, okay, here's how the playoffs work. If the Jets do this and this team does this, this is how they get in. And people are like, wait, bro, they can't score touchdowns yet. I'm like, we'll figure that part out. So maybe I'm too drunk on everything that's happening right now. But do you believe the Jets can take the division for the first time since 2002?
I think if there's opportunity to do it, it's now. I mean, they gotta strike, while the opportunity is there. Obviously, winning obviously is the first priority, but the biggest thing besides just the winning aspect is how you win, right? You got to find identity. I think we're at this point now with the entire offense. They're still trying to find themselves, what works, what doesn't work. The O-line shuffling, trying to find out which person they can run behind at this point with ABT gone. It's been a mess, but like you said, we did finish the job versus the Bills week 1. They have looked very vulnerable as a team. They don't look like the Bills that everyone picked to be the third, Super Bowl favorite in the entire league going into the season. Obviously they had tons of injuries, but I mean, who hasn't been hurt this year, right?
Of course.
Like I said, going into this game, they said they got to have it. This is another opportunity again, like last week, to kind of separate yourself. Not only in the conference, but obviously in the division, you could jump and leapfrog them, the Bills. And now you hawk in the Dolphins. If the Dolphins, drop the ball versus the Raiders, now we have an opportunity that no one, would have imagined, right? Which I'm sure that'll be ignored too, because they'll be like, well, the Jets just got lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's it. We just got to keep putting respect on the name. They won't do it for us.
Handle the business at the end of the day.
By the way, we just got a YouTube super chat in here. This is Vladdy P. Spyro! We effing horny, baby. Love you on Twitter. How long till the drama queen Diggs demands a trade from Canadian Carson Wentz and that bum-ass team? Spyro, thoughts?
Yeah, Diggs gotta get out of there, man. They're wasting his time.
He had what? Oh my God, he had like 3 catches for 30 yards. I wonder if I could be a fly in the wall in that Bills locker room.
Diggs got outplayed by Gabe Davis. We're gonna talk about it.
No. And then this week he's got Sauce, DJ Reed. He ain't catching. He ain't catching again.
Did you see this?
Yeah, for the Bills. Oh yeah, let's pull that up. Vladdy P, thanks for the super chat, brother. Yeah, let's throw that up on the big screen. Oh, this was juicy. Oh man, they are 5-5. Okay.
Oh yeah.
They being the Buffalo Bills. Here is the schedule. Okay, I put this up on Twitter last night. Hey, let's take a gander. Let's pull out the reading glasses, people. Here it is. Here's what they have. This is at home versus the Jets. That's this week. Again, remember, they already lost to the Jets in week 1. Then they go at Philadelphia. Yikes. Oh, wait. The Eagles, man, they've only lost once, right, Spyro? Who was that to?
They won't.
Jets.
They won't say who beat the Eagles in that game. For some reason, no one on Twitter will say the name.
Yeah, it's some blemish, but they're like, I don't know who did it. What happened there? Yeah, interesting. Weird. Okay. So they have a bye week, and hell, the way things are going, they could lose that one too. But anywho, let's keep looking on the schedule. At Kansas City, talk about that 3-week stretch. At Philly, bye. At Kansas City, Zaloo. Anywho, home against the Cowboys. The Cowboys, man, I've heard a lot of Bills fans say, "Oh, we could win that one." I think Micah Parsons is going to go freaking buck wild on that team, but that's either here nor there. At Chargers, so East Coast, West Coast. You play the Patriots again. You also lost to that team, and then at the Dolphins, they're 5-5 right now. I'm trying to look for wins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Oh boy. It could be a top 10 pick for the Buffalo Bills. Good Lord have mercy.
We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
This is yeah. Look at that schedule, man. That is no bueno. So I just have to say,
There's no gimme.
the Bills for a long time they had a 17-year playoff drought. They were the lovable losers. When you left your house, they're a hobo begging for change in front of your house, and then you always passed them. You never gave them anything. And then they finally make the playoffs. They lost that year, by the way, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They lost that 9-6 game, or whatever the hell that looked like, and with Tyrod Taylor back in those days.
Right.
But they make it, and then all of a sudden, as they've been on the streak, right, they won the division 3 straight years. There's a lot of arrogance from Bills fans. They're walking with a little pep in their step, and I'm like, what have you done? You haven't done diddly. That's what you've done. The Jets went to back-to-back AFC Championship games. Have you done that? Oh, you haven't. Oh, you've been losing the divisional round. What a participation trophy. Yeah, so I'm kind of enjoying Bills fans squirming here because they've had an arrogance since they've kind of taken over the division. They don't remember their peasant roots when they were the great unwashed. I don't know. These Buffalo fans rubbing me the wrong way. So I want to grab this steel pipe and beat them over the face with it this weekend. That's how I'm feeling.
Exactly.
Spyro.
Right. The same way I feel. Like I want to take it to them. I want us to sweep them. If anything, because the thing about it is the Dolphins fans for sure, they don't want to see that because that just adds more pressure on top of their whole narrative that they can't be good teams. So if we beat them and we go into the Black Friday game full of emotion, that game's gonna be electric, man.
That will be.
Yeah,
Speaking of electric, I do want to dive into this. Spyro, I had a Twitter beef for a couple of days. People, I've had to, when I'm doing interviews and other shows, they keep bringing it up. But you've taken the mantle. That Twitter fight card's getting pretty intense. What in God's green earth? You and Jake Asman? What's going on there, man?
You ever been to a bar and like you try to break up the fight, then you end up inserted in the fight? That's what I felt like happened. Like honestly, I felt like people were in my mention to tell me though, I kind of just scrolling. People were saying, Jake Asman, whatever have you, he was just kind of being really, arrogant and being a certain kind of way with some of the fans on there. And I'm a person, most people I feel like would attest to this. I interact with everybody. I have no, ego in that sense where I'm like, I'm just gonna ignore people's mention. I message everyone, DMs, anything, whatever have you, right? So I saw that and I'm like, I immediately was, taken aback because I'm like, well, if that's how people are feeling, you have a platform. You would legitimately have a platform. I just offered my advice. I was like, well,
I saw him show that to you, by the way. Yeah, I saw him show that to you. His 35,000 followers. He pulled out the YouTube analytics.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, we went there.
He tried to flex on me a little bit. I kind of let him know. Like you can't.
Yeah. Wow. So he
like
wasn't
me,
playing.
Like we've been out here. We built our following organically. And
brick by brick, baby.
Honestly, how I felt like it was hilarious because at the end of the day, like I said, like we talked about earlier, me feeling like I don't have an audience to support or following to kind of uphold. I felt
you're not restricted. You can just kind of let loose.
Yeah, I did pretty well on there, but I don't put it out there as if like I'm a Jets content creator. Like you've never heard me say that, right? Granted, most of my tweets stem from that, but at the end of the day, like I just wild out.
Yeah. Which is fun, by the way. Yeah.
Well, Jake Osmond, like there's no like major pressure, but my whole thing was like just humble yourself a little bit. Because at the end of the day, these are the people that support you, definitely don't for lack of a better word, shit on them and make them feel less than. Because at the end of the day, we're all Jets fans and we all deserve that respect. If the other fan base aren't gonna give us that, we all gotta respect each other at the end of the day, and that's all it was. So the Twitter analytics was funny. We talked about the YouTube page, I told him like, don't make me start a YouTube channel to piss you off because I'll do it. I'll definitely give.
I love the petty that you'd be willing to jump into our waters purely off of hatred, which by the way is passion. All you want is passion. Like for my fiance, when she cooks, she normally cooks us dinner.
Right.
If she loves me, I'm like, oh wow, she's making it with love. If she's pissed at me, she's making it with hate. But I tell her that's still a passionate emotion, so I'm okay with that. So yeah, in the same way, I like the energy.
Yeah.
I like the
I
energy.
feel you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, are you going to dive into the waters? I think you have. I know you say whether you didn't make it for the following or that it just kind of happened organically, which I think is really cool when we
Right.
just do our own thing and people naturally see it and they want to follow it.
Right.
So they kind of jump on the bandwagon, so to speak, which by the way, where can people hit you up on the X app? What's that handle?
Spiral Kush.
There it is. Boom. Right there, baby, with the little @ sign in front of it. Feel free to hit it up. And it's
Right.
also streaming live right now on my Twitter, so you can hit the handle that way as well.
Mhm.
To my let me make sure I get this flex right. The 16.8 thousand followers because I'm a big deal. So let me just gotta get that out there right in the universe. Anywho, yeah, but anywho, so all 16,000 of those guys could go hit up Spyro Kush. Feel free to do so. So okay, yeah. So by the way, who's winning that fight? Give me the early betting odds on you and Asman in the octagon. Well, what again? Octagon boxing fight. What are we getting? I want for mine against Nania. I want to make sure I get full MMA because I want to get my Taekwondo in there. If it's straight boxing, I can't use any of my leg kicks or anything of that nature. So I want full MMA octagon. Let's get the gloves on. Let's go. Where are you at, Spyro?
So
for your
first,
match?
I'm more of a boxing dude. We're not about to be throwing no kicks in there. You know what I mean? I saw your video. It's impressive. I told you. I was like, hey, you land one of them kicks, Paul. You got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta
okay.
pop the trunk real quick. But you know what I'm saying?
I like the purity, though. I like the purity of the boxing, though. That's good. That sport apparently is dying off, and it's sad. But yeah, man, I like that. Okay.
I believe in my abilities, you know what I mean, versus anybody. I'm a grown man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's right. You got a name, you got a family to defend for Pete's sake. I feel you. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I like my chances. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do too. I do too. That's where my money would be going. Well, Spyro, this was awesome, man. I hope again, for love or hate, as I told my fiance story, either way, I hope you make a channel, man. I know you may not want to call yourself a Jets content creator. It's like when I say in Twitter, I'm like, I don't call myself handsome, but a lot of people do. Okay. You say, I don't call myself a Jets content creator, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Okay. Just embrace it. Embrace the hate or love, whatever drives that engine. I don't discriminate. Hey, either way is cool with me, man. But whatever it is, I think you might make that channel. I think you may. Again, I think that people are a little begging for it a little bit when you talked about it on Twitter because I think they are just waiting for a channel to subscribe to. They're waiting on the edge of their seat to support you, and I think it'd be cool. You bring a different flavor, Spyro, whether you know it or not. You bring a different flavor of I don't give a flying hoot when you're out there, and I think people respect that because you're just going to call it, whether good or bad. And I think that's a point of respect, my man.
Right.
You should consider it. And as your new manager, obviously, I'm going to have some of those royalty fees, obviously. But that's just how the business works. But so feel free. I'll send you the address on the side for the royalty checks where you can send those. But YouTube channel, may want to hop on that, pal.
Appreciate that, alley-oop, man.
Yeah, there we go. So Spyro joining us here on the program. And seriously, thank you so much for your service, Spyro. That's really cool, man. My not to tell my story, but I was supposed to be in the Army, and then we moved up here to New York. There's no JRTC, so my program stopped at Sergeant. I'm like, well, sports would be kind of cool. And boom. So you never know how life can change. So you doing this is tremendous. Father was in the Navy for 20 years. My brother was in the Marines. Man, it's just I just love all our people, man. You help us do this country where we can even yell on Twitter. Like without you, that wouldn't even be possible. So you know what? You're contributing, my man. You're contributing. We appreciate you. There you go. One more from Vladdy P. Best two fellas repping the Jets out there. That's true. That's true. Stop it. More. Yes. Damn right. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Keep smacking them around, Spyro. Thanks, pal. Thanks for joining us here on the show, man.
Appreciate you, boss.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning with Boy Green Daily. Greg Thompson of Buffalo Bills Insider. Let's check in on the Bills and let's see how they're feeling. We will be doing that tomorrow morning live at 7:30. Thanks everybody for tuning in and.